Hey, thanks for joining me for another episode of A Drink from Upstream. And what I want to talk to you about today is it's probably not overly culturally acceptable, but who cares about that right now? Okay, let's just talk about something that's reality. It may not line up with our culture, but it's reality. As I know it personally, and as I know other people in their households, right? So the reality is, in every household, sometimes expressed, sometimes unexpressed, there are certain things that are definitely men's work, and there are certain things that are more women's work in every household. And that could differ from household to household, but for whatever reason, things get divvied up that way. A lot of things are shared. Like in my house, I probably do more laundry than anybody else does. I just have kind of assumed that role. I do a decent amount of dishes and other sort of housework, but Jessie does a lot of that as well, and she's great about it. And of course, Sophia, she contributes in those sorts of things as well. But then there are things that just have lined up to be men's work and women's work. So one thing, I don't know if I have ever, in 30 years of being married, I don't know if I've ever cleaned a toilet. It's not because I've totally refused, but my wife knows that I just can't stand it, and so she just does it, and I don't even think about it. But I'm thankful for it. But men's work, there's a lot of things. Really, there are a lot of things that are men's work in my house. So if there's a spider on the wall or on the ceiling or whatever, if it's in the house, it's my job. The other people in my house are incapable of handling spiders. And when I say handling, I mean that I squash them and then I throw them in the garbage. I don't let them back out to the wild. I kill them. That's men's work. I don't know why, but it just is. If something's wrong with the roof on the house, or the gutters are, dirty, clean, clogged up, it's my job. Here's one that's interesting to me. If a drain is clogged, I am the one who has to unclog it. I don't know why, but the truth is, I'm not the cause of it. Like 99 times out of 100, I'm not the cause of that clogged drain, because here's what I find. Almost every single drain that I unclog is clogged because of long hair getting caught in the trap. Well, you can see right there, it's not me, friends. I'm not the one clogging the drain, but I unclog it. And really, it's no big deal. It's like, hey, it's usually a pretty easy fix, takes just a few minutes, and I handle it, no problem. So here's kind of a fun little exercise. I do this for couples that I'm doing their premarital counseling with. I don't ask them, I tell them, here's an assignment for you. You have to, by such and such a date, before our next meeting, you have to come up with a list of things without talking to one another. You have to come up with a list of things that you consider to be men's work and women's work. So both the man and the woman do this. So the man comes up with a list and says, these are the things that are men's work, and these are the things that are women's work. And then the woman has to do the same thing. Here's the things that are men's work. Here's the things that are women's work. But they're not supposed to talk about it. They have to email them to me. And then, of course, I usually get a pretty good chuckle. And then we work through seeing if we can kind of align expectations. And sometimes there's pretty good alignment, and other times you're like, whoa, you better deal with some of these things. But it's the idea of establishing an expectation within the household, so that, again, households are going to differ one from another as far as how things get divvied up. But over time they get divvied up, and that's just the way it is. But going into it is an important expectation to get alignment on. So here's my assignment for you. If you live with other people, if whether you're married or whether maybe you're a single parent and you've got kids at home, or whether you're married, no kids at home, whatever, here's a little assignment for you. Put a little thought into it and come up with, in your house, how things have been divvied up. And most of it's probably not, like, it hasn't been talked through and thought through entirely, but it's just something that just kind of happens. So a lot of things are shared, but certain things tend to be men's work, and other things tend to be women's work. And so come up with that list, and maybe talk with your spouse and do this, do it separately, and then come together and talk through it, and ask questions like, why is this? and maybe are there some adjustments that we need to make and that sort of thing. But here's a verse for you to kind of lay over the top of all of this. And of course, this is coming from Matthew's Gospel, Matthew chapter 11, verse 19. And this is what Jesus said. He said, wisdom is justified by her deeds. So you can think about what that means. Wisdom is justified by her deeds, and come up with these lists of work, who does what, and is it wisdom? And is that the way it should be? And maybe that'll be a good, hopefully helpful, and hopefully it should be a fun exercise for you. God bless you.